Everyone is wrong about Apple Vision Pro. Well, not everyone, because I'm right, because I make YouTube videos, which means that I probably have a higher IQ than the average person. But seriously, I've seen so many opinions about Apple's newly announced Vision Pro headset that I just disagree with, so I gotta make a video about it and tell you why I think a lot of people are focusing on the wrong thing here. And those arguments boil down to, I think, four easy categories. Number one, that Vision Pro is just another virtual reality headset. Number two, that Vision Pro will isolate you more than an iPhone or a Mac. Number three, that Vision Pro is poorly designed. And number four, Vision Pro is too expensive. Yeah, that last one I know is gonna irk a lot of you, so stay tuned so you can make fun of me after, but if you end up agreeing with me, shut up Siri, you have to sub to the channel. That's the rules. That's the unspoken rules of making YouTube videos. If you agree with me for even 1 second, you have to subscribe. And you can't unsubscribe. That's not how this works, okay? You can't unsub because I need the subs to afford this headset. Alright, so perhaps the most prevailing argument that I see online is that Apple Vision Pro is just another virtual reality headset that you can buy from Meta or PlayStation or Samsung with that Gear VR. Oh wait, they don't sell that anymore. They just gave up. Not surprising, right? And while the Apple Vision Pro can probably be described best as a mixed reality headset with elements of virtual reality and augmented reality, the key takeaway from Apple's event was that they focus mostly on an augmented reality experience with just a taste of virtual reality. Like, they were very, very clear that the target experience for this headset is augmented reality, with most of the demos taking place in the real world with floating user interface elements being transposed into your existing environment. Yes, you can turn the digital crown on the headset to put yourself into more of a virtual reality experience, but even that feature seemed to really want to keep you grounded in the real world because you can pick and choose just how much of that virtual world is overlaid onto the headset to give you a mix between the virtual and the real world. Yes, there are times perhaps where you'll want to be in a virtual environment, like blowing up a giant movie theater screen or playing an immersive game, but Apple's main demos focused on users being able to pop up virtual windows of applications that you already know, like Safari or Notes or Messages, and more into your existing environment where you can still interact with people. Which leads me into my second point. A lot of people are saying Apple Vision Pro is designed to keep you more isolated. And I think Apple deserves a lot more credit than that, because they intentionally designed Apple Vision Pro to be a communal experience. They didn't design it to keep you isolated. And I think that's down to almost every aspect of how this headset works. First of all, the latency between what the camera captures and what the display shows you is only 12 milliseconds. People that have demoed this headset and had hand-on experience with it said that the latency is so low and that the vision is so close to your actual eyesight that you can fully wear this headset and still walk around the room while navigating through obstacles without worrying about bumping into something. It feels, at least from the demos and based on the resolution of the Vision Pro being sharp enough, and the field of view being captured by the camera and that low latency, that it's almost a one-to-one experience. So even though you are wearing a headset and technically looking through a display, it's kind of like not wearing a display at all. And Apple focusing on hand gestures rather than controllers is a big part of making this experience feel natural. Your eyes are the cursor, you pinch to select, and you scroll with your hands. You aren't interacting with controllers or other analog devices. You are controlling the interface with your hands in a similar way to how you might control them in the real world, so that real-world interactions still feel natural and you are ready to contextually switch between interacting with virtual objects that aren't really there and real-world objects and people that are. Which means that demos that Apple showed in their keynote of someone passing you a real object while you're working in that virtual desktop, or a kid kicking a soccer ball at you and the latency actually being low enough that you can literally stop it with your foot with precise timing, means that the display won't make it feel like you're in a virtual environment. You can still socially interact with people. Even if you were to close yourself off completely with virtual reality, Apple smartly integrated features into the headset like Breakthrough, which would display when a person walks in front of you. People can still fully interrupt and grab your attention while wearing this headset. Almost like if you were just kind of like staring at your phone and interacting with it, people can still pop up to you and talk to you. And you can still be very, very distracted by your phone, but at least with this headset, you are constantly looking forward. You are constantly looking at something. You're not looking down at something. And I don't know, I just feel like because you are kind of always kind of looking out into the environment, I almost feel like it's going to lead to less isolation and less distraction. However, by far, the biggest thing I have seen people online complain about is one of the demos that Apple showed off during this presentation, where Apple showed a parent recording a 3D video with this headset during what looks to be like their child's birthday party, and so many people are saying, this looks dystopian, that parent isn't interacting with their kids, and, isn't this awful? Isn't this like the worst possible version of the future? Well, granted, I do think it does look weird because, let's be honest, we aren't used to people wearing headsets, but conceptually, ask yourself this. Is this really all that different from a parent being on their phone or holding up a phone to record video? Listen, I can't tell you how much I see my friends and family constantly taking videos or pictures on their phone and not living in the moment, and yeah, I'm guilty of that too. Think about it, anytime a good-looking plate of food comes out, every time we see a beautiful piece of scenery, or even in moments where we should be experiencing the world, how many times do you see people holding up their phones to record an event rather than experience it? You see it at concerts, you see it at live shows, you see it during parties, you even see it during fireworks. Why are people taking videos of fireworks, right? People live more through the lens rather than their eyes, and that is kind of sad to see. But I think this headset might actually be a solution to this. As crazy as it sounds, maybe it could. Again, it looks more isolating, but that parent recording that video of their children can press a button and then record. They don't have to hold a phone up perfectly steady or look through a viewfinder. They can just keep watching what's going on, and yes, it may be through a display on their head, but because it's a passive experience where the cameras on the headset is capturing what they see, they can live in that moment and experience what's going on. And yeah, what's going on may technically be appearing on that display in their eyes and technically not in reality, but then at that point, it's just a piece of technology enhancing the experience. Conceptually, to me, you can make the argument it's no different than wearing a pair of glasses to fix your vision or a hearing aid so you can hear better. This is a piece of technology, and when I think about it conceptually again, when you take a phone and you record a video, your hands are occupied. At least with this headset, you could be recording a video, you could be in that moment, you could interact with your kids, you can be using your hands and not focused on recording a moment. You can experience the moment. I'm trying to look at it more as an enhancement of what you naturally see rather than something that's going to isolate you. And I think that comes down to the design of this headset as well. I know we keep making fun of this headset because it looks a bit silly with the display on the front recreating the user's eyes, but to me, this shows that Apple is trying to keep this experience as natural as possible. And think about it, that outward display isn't for the user. The user can't see their own eyes projected onto this display. This is literally a feature designed and developed for the benefit of the people not using the headset. It's to make it less weird and more approachable to communicate with people as they are using this device. And at every step, it appears that Apple, unlike so many others, actually thought about social interaction when designing this headset. They could have easily omitted a lot of these features and just built a closed-off experience, but they didn't. Apple clearly does not want you to have a closed-off experience with this headset, and I think it's funny, but after covering Apple for so many years, it's unsurprising to me at this point that Apple suddenly makes a headset, and now everyone is so concerned about people being further socially isolated, yet Meta can make a virtual reality headset that completely closes you off from any social interaction, and no one seemed to care about these experiences until now. Is it Apple bias? Maybe, but I think it's more that because people can actually see this headset being the next big thing. And with these early virtual reality headsets, well, we all looked at them and we all realized these don't have a chance at mainstream success. So now, maybe rightfully so, people are concerned about these experiences. But I just think that the design of this headset is just so well thought out from a user experience. Now, that doesn't mean the actual design doesn't have flaws, let's be honest. This isn't a thin pair of AR glasses, this is still a pretty big headset, and from these hands-on impressions, it sounds like it's kind of noticeable on your head. It's not as lightweight as most people might have hoped for, and it does have pretty big design compromises to this headset. Like, there's a literal external battery pack, which you kind of need to put in your pocket, and then that only tops out at 2 hours of battery life. So this dystopian world where people are picturing people wearing the Apple Vision Pro for 24/7 isn't even technically possible right now because of those battery life constraints. But again, to me, and this is a side point, that does make this headset exciting because it is flawed. We can clearly see the problems of this Generation 1 device, but it's a step one of a product. Just like the original Mac or the first iPhone, this is a product that won't be perfect out of the gate. And it will take a long, long time and constant updates to get this thing to be a mainstream success. Which leads me to my last point, that Apple Vision Pro is too expensive. Well, I don't think it is. Listen, I'm not gonna argue with you. $3,500 is a lot of money, and for one of the first times since I've been covering Apple rumors, like, we expected a price point of $3,000 for this headset, which is still expensive, but I thought it was kind of funny that, we got an even more expensive price than people initially thought. Like, I thought Apple leaked that $3,000 figure and then they'd undercut it by like $500 like they did with the iPad, like making it like $2,500, but they kind of went the opposite way. They made it $3,500. But even so, let us think about this. The original iMac launched at $2,495 or $7,000 in today's money. The original iPhone launched at $500 when back then you could get a cell phone for practically free just by signing up for a cell phone plan. But the price didn't matter at first because the experience of those products were unlike anything that came before it. People paid the high prices and people loved those devices. They were revolutionary. And that price of $3,500, again, it's a lot of money, but it's not too expensive for what the headset is. By many estimates, Apple is going to be almost selling this headset at cost, which means the headset right now is close to $3,000 worth of technology. Just look at all the sensors in this headset. It has a micro OLED display at 4K resolution per eye, a 90 Hz refresh rate, eye tracking, and a total of 12 cameras on this headset alone. The headset is doing things that other headsets on the market just aren't capable of. I think John Gruber of Daring Fireball captured my feelings by saying, Vision Pro and Vision OS feel like they've been pulled forward in time from the future. I haven't had that feeling about a new product since the original iPhone in 2007. There are several aspects of the experience that felt impossible. To put it frank, this is an experience most of us have probably never had before. It's revolutionary if the tech works as promised. $3,500 may be expensive, but I have no doubt that based on the hype of this product, based on the real hands-on experience that people have had with this headset, that Apple will sell out of every single headset they make for this Generation 1 product. Mark my words, I'll say it again. Apple will sell out of this headset on the first day it's available. Granted, that may not be a lot of units because it's rumored to only have a manufacturing process of around 1 million units, but this headset isn't supposed to be a mainstream success on day one. We think Apple achieves mainstream success with a lot of their products overnight. But it took years and years for the personal computing industry to take off and for everyone to have a computer in their household. And it took years and years for the iPhone to become something that everyone carries in their pocket. And it will take years before the Vision Pro or this Vision platform will achieve mainstream success. The tech will get better, the battery life will improve, the cost of the headset will go down, it will get slimmer and thinner and more capable and more appealing until one day you wake up and everyone you know owns one. But that's just what I think, and I fully acknowledge that, yes, even I can be wrong, because in reality I'm just a guy and I get it wrong all the time. But I really think, and I feel it, that this is the start of something new and special, and I can't stop thinking about this headset and how badly I want to try one. It's been a long time, just like Gruber said, a long time since I felt this way about a piece of technology. But now that's just my take. Now it's time to learn from what you think about Apple's Vision Pro headset. Is this really a platform that can be bigger than the Mac or bigger than the iPhone, or do you think this is a platform that will never catch on? I want to hear your thoughts about it. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to give me a like. If you want to see more and maybe hear more of my thoughts on this Vision Pro headset, because I don't think I'm done making videos about it, I'm that excited about it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And yes, I'll catch you in the next one.